call the benevolent beings of light, archangels, and ascended masters to guide and inspire us during this forum. Our forum's vision is to bring the understanding, tools, discipline, and support for those seeking to enter the straight and narrow path, the road less traveled, that will lead us along effectively and steadily through the ascension process. Integration of the human experience with our divine origin is moving us full circle to achieve our divine potential. So be it. Amen.
Be you. Just keep focused on you. Don't worry about what anyone else is doing. We don't need any more of anyone else. We need you to be the unique, beautiful essence of who you truly are. When Michelangelo was asked how he created David from the block of stone, he answered that David was already in the marble, and his role, as he saw it, was to get rid of the excess marble surrounding David. You, darling, are already a unique and perfect essence of the divine in motion. Allow yourself the grace of chipping away all that you are not, so you can know how marvelous you are. Don't concern yourself with becoming anything other than who you truly are within.
So perfectly stated. Parable wisdom. Is there anything else anyone could ever say so clearly, so succinctly, so beautifully as what you just listened to? It was stunningly presented in such a way that it's completely understandable. All of us are absolutely in this journey. He showed us symbolically what we go through. Even the crucifixion. Every time we face a part of ourselves that we do not love, that we are ashamed of, that we are angry that it happened, or that we were involved, we're being crucified. And then we resurrect when we finally surrender and give it to God and free ourselves from the entire experience. And it no longer is a part of you. Many people that I've worked with and that I know, they hold on to the pain and keep reliving it over and over and over. And one day they come to the decision that they're done. They give it to God. They're on their knees and said, God, I can't live like this anymore. I can't. It's too painful. And that's your day. That's your holy day. Because you're free. You gave it to God. And it's done. With me, it had to be emotionally charged for me to get there, to give it up. I didn't know I was hanging on to it. It was just there. And I kept thinking about it. And I kept feeling it. And I cried. And I got angry. And then one day, one by one, I gave up what was hurting me inside. It's true freedom. That is freedom that only you can give yourself. The parables were so beautifully stated. And yes, it was a mystical experience to understand it on the deepest levels of its meaning. That's why you don't just read the Bible. You meditate upon each chapter. Stay in the New Testament. Follow the Jesus' teachings. It is our story. The whole Bible is the story of the soul from its beginnings to the point where we no longer needed to think of God as a punishing God. And Jesus stepped in and showed us that God was all love, total love, never judged us. But boy, did we become good judges. We judged everything, thinking we knew, but we didn't. These parables, and there's more. There's more. I didn't watch the second part, but I'll tell you, I know from reading the Bible so many times that there is a great mystery behind the words. And if you sit quietly, that's my idea of meditation. I used to go into these meditations where I'd come out hours later, having no idea I was in that long. But that stopped. And now it's just a matter of sitting in the silence, just sitting quietly and just feeling whatever comes up. Inspiration comes in when you least expect it. Guidance of every kind, of everything that you ask. That's knocking. That's when you knock, when you ask your higher self, what is this? Why is this happening? What do I need to see? Whatever the circumstances are. Having a relationship with your higher self is having a relationship with God. We didn't realize that. We thought God's somewhere far, far away. And boy, did he have his eye on us. Well, it's actually your own higher self, the Christ in you, your potential, the place you're going in your consciousness. I think of all of us as a cell in the body of God. And when all of us reach that point, we're done. We become a god or a goddess. What kind of world do you create each day? Are you always considering language alerts and how we deal with other people, missed opportunities to be kind, to take care of someone who can't take care of themselves? And how about you? Do you love you? Have you accepted you for who you are with all the things you know about yourself? Your strong points, your love, your abilities, strengths, everything. Can you love yourself for your weak points, for the things that you haven't mastered yet? Please love yourself just the way you are. Everything is trying to work together for the highest good. Everything. Your body is trying to serve you. Love it. Care for it. Don't obsess about it. Don't be afraid. Yes, we're going to have cleansings. Yes, we're going to have boo-boos. It doesn't make you any less of a divine being. It's part of the journey. It slows you down for sure and gets you to have quiet time. Something that a lot of people just can't pull off. They want to have fun, like that song, Madonna song. A girl just wants to have fun. Yeah. Well, we've had plenty of practice. We have had a lot of fun over many lifetimes, and some not so much. But it was all part of this magnificent journey. And we are sitting at right at the door of 5D. Right now, everything that just happened in the world, everything that happened in America was the gateway for 5D to occur. Every step seemed to us too long and drawn out, but the end is that nothing could be missed. Nothing. could be skipped. No part of this. It had to happen, and we are being watched to see how we respond or react to it. That's our part, to hold the light no matter what happens around us. That's having faith and hope and trust in the divine. And who would that be but you? You. Absolutely. The truth is, the humanness in us actually evolves and moves into an expression that you can be proud of. Watching myself as a caretaker, I'm very proud because I've just never served in that way where I have to take care of somebody that can't take care of themselves. And I am really in awe of myself, to tell you the truth, seeing the growth in me, that I can do this, and in complete and utter love. The things that we haven't quite gotten yet, or that we really don't want to do, let it happen. Do your part. See how you can master this. Giving of yourself, being in service, is the greatest act of love that a human being can do. True. It doesn't mean you give up your life for anything. Like I would say, I have to take care of myself right now. I need a little rest. And I know that. I know when to call my boundaries. All of you, if you can do that, you'll never feel used or abused, because we're the only ones that do that to ourselves. You see? You are in complete and utter control of your life and how it plays out. The parable wisdom takes us to another level of understanding. It helps us to see that someone, and that would be Jesus in the story, was able to accomplish this. He showed us all the stages and steps and everything that we have to go through to get there. It wasn't easy for any of us. But your hearts show me how far you've come, how much work you've done on yourself, how much you have grown into yourself, this magnificent light in the world. If you could see your auras, you'd understand what I'm saying to you. And honestly, you really do see it. You do. You're just not registering it sometimes. Some of you do all the time. This life is so simple at its core, but we make it a lot more difficult than we need to. Because what do? We seek to be everything we love around us instead of being us, finding out who we are, really getting to know you. And once you know yourself, you are so comfortable in your own skin that nobody can pull you out of there. No one can give you a bad day. There is no such thing. There's a work day and there's a play day. Sometimes it's in the same day, if we take care of things as they happen. If you're not satisfied with your life, do something about it. Figure out what's missing that you really need and bring it into your life. You'll be surprised who you'll meet, what will happen, how things will move so differently. Nothing stops you from finding your joy. And that's the state that we are to be in at all times, a state of joy. And when you go into the silence and just sit, you don't have to do it for hours. If it happens, great. But if you don't have the time, just sit for a little bit. Give those few moments to God and say thank you. Be grateful. Be honest. If you're scared about something you're facing, be honest to God. God already knows. Your higher self knows everything, everything about you, the personality you chose, the journey you've walked, the strengths that you have that you don't even know you have. So I highly recommend that you watch this again if you didn't get some good notes going. And there is a part 2 to this, which will show up at the end. And perhaps you'll want to look at that as well. Okay. So what time is it? Oh, we still have time. That's right. It wasn't one of those 40-minute ones. So, it's interesting to note that the mustard seed, when I was a little girl, my grandmother, my father's mother, gave me a little round, like glass thing with a mustard seed in it. And it was on it had a gold loop, and I wore it on a chain. And everybody would ask me, what is that? And I'd say, it's a mustard seed. And they would say, what's it for? I said, I don't know. I don't know what it means. And I asked my grandmother, and she just said, it's a good luck piece. It's very lucky. And maybe God will tell you what it means, because she didn't know. And even though I read the story in the Bible, what I took of it was the story that he said at first, what everybody would think. Something very small becomes very large. But there's so much more depth to it. You see, every one of the parables, the pearl of great price, that one I studied for a long time. I really started to understand it. The kingdom of God being within us. Now that one didn't really click until much later in my spiritual journey. I didn't think of it that way. I didn't have to be a god or a goddess. I really trusted that whatever was going on was leading me in a good direction. When Jesus took time in the wilderness, what do you think our life is? Our life is the wilderness. We're out in the world in 3D, sometimes getting our nose punched, other times being hugged. That is our experience in the wilderness. I always thought of it as Alice in Wonderland. I never knew what was going to happen next, and neither did she. Yeah, the transfiguration. I understood that. I understood it not quite as beautifully as he explained it, but I understood we were eventually going to transfigure into a body of light. It was just something I felt. The Beatitudes. Yeah. I sat on the rocks there were 12 rocks on the hillside there. And we sat there, the Sermon on the Mount. And we were discussing what it meant to us. And I think he did such a good job with that, this gentleman that was reading, the poor of spirit. And if you can understand the depth of that, people are so caught up in the world, having things, having a position in life, a social level, having riches and things, and they just keep an outer focus which leaves you bankrupt spiritually, because everything you've done here was just to bring you together with people, or to help you learn lessons, or to finish with contracts and part of your mission. It all got you ready for now to step into 5D. You see? And I used to always say that to people. I used to say, you know, you might have money in the bank, but that doesn't really, that's not where I want my money. And they said, what do you do? Invest? I said, no. I said, spiritually, what I do with my heart and my actions and what I do in the world is my bank account in heaven. And that's where you want it. That's your eternal. Yeah. So the hunger and thirst, let me tell you, when the only thing you want in your life is to reach a level of such peace that it passes understanding, then you'll stop hungering and thirsting, you see, because you found the main line of love that has everything in it, all the satisfaction and blessings that you've ever sought is in that. The peacemakers, you know, a lot of people think they're wimpy. Oh, I don't want to have a fight. Let's not argue. Let's just, let's just kind of let it go and be okay together. And people challenge you. They want you to be fighting with them. They want to have a good challenge. But it's never been something that I enjoyed. To me, it's a waste of energy. My son from college loved to debate, and he'd come here and he'd say, come on, Mom, let's debate things. I said, what do you want to debate? He goes, God. I went, oh, here we go. The only thing that a peacemaker wants is to see the joy and happiness and peace in the world, all around them and within them. That's all we are. We're not meek. In fact, we're very powerful because we feel that way, because this is the truth. And being merciful. I used to really have to think this one out. And I'd say to myself, okay, so I wasn't as merciful when I worked at the law office, when I was working deals with people who owed a lot of money and other problems that they had. And then God just kept sending me people who broke my heart so that I softened, and Miss Company Man became a heart. And I'd work out with these people what would really work for them. Even though the lawyers would never have approved it, I was independent, so I could do what I decided. And we had 80 some odd cases that I resolved because I was loving and logical and caring. My boss, when he saw this, he freaked out. He said, do you know how long those cases were sitting there? I said, yeah, I saw the dates in them. I said, but it seemed important enough for me to work with this. But what really was important is that my heart opened and I dropped this thing where I had to be a company man for my boss. And I said, I'll still be able to accomplish the same thing, but it will be from my heart. And it was, and it worked. And it was something I think taught all 5 of those lawyers a lesson in law, and yet absolutely doing it with compassion, which one of them laughed at me when I gave the speech. But you know what? He got booted so many times by different people because he worked with women or men that were going through divorces. And because he was like, oh, he wasn't even listening, he got himself in trouble at the law office. So I tell you, everything you've been through and every experience you've had was not wasted. It wasn't. Even when it hurt so darn bad and you kept saying, why me? I'm so nice. Why'd that happen? It happened to help you, to help your heart open further, to help you to come to understand that the kindness and love that you give, you receive. Yeah. You're only giving it to yourself because guess who's on the planet? You. It's just one. And everything we do, say, act out, we're doing it to ourselves. And once you really get that, it changes everything. It really does. No longer is it them and you. It's us. It's us. Every aspect of you is out there, just waiting for you to love it free, to bring your light where it's needed. So I'm going to stop here and I'll do my summary after the questions and answers. I hope you enjoyed tonight's parable wisdom. It was really good stuff. Okay. We take religion to the next step of spirituality, but it's all good that we have it all. Really, it serves a purpose. Everything does. No poo-pooing anything. So anyone that's listening to this on YouTube, I invite you to come to the forum. There's 3 segments of which you don't get to see on the video. You just get to see segment 1. And go to our website, ourdivineorigin.com. And please join us. Just send me an email and you're in. That beautiful song. Did you read the last statement that it put up there? You are worthy. And when you come to love yourself enough, you'll know to let the sun shine in and then let your light shine out into the world. God bless you all. Thank you. So the parable wisdom was the topic tonight. And I can tell you that just listening to the stories, to the comments, to the questions, we're living the Bible. We're living the dream of awakening. We're living the divine life, even though we haven't reached our full potential. Everything that happens. See, Gregory's lucky. He's not stuck in an office. He's out in the world and he's dealing with people that are really in need, and he gets to find the answers. I told him he's very lucky to have a job like that, you know? And anybody that works with people, you find that it's so satisfying. The care that my husband had at that hospital, at Saratoga Hospital, was amazing. They were so wonderful to him, so kind, so compassionate. Every single person there. Where do you find this? You find it as you give it, and it finds you. You see? You get what you give. You get what you give. So when people are good to you and you're sitting there going, oh my goodness, they're so nice. I can't believe it. Yeah, believe it. Because you've been doing that. You've been doing it your whole life in different ways, some of the same. It depends on the circumstance. It depends on where you were at, who you were with, what contracts you had. But it's an amazing journey we're on. And those parables that we were listening to, they were pointing the way on the path, you see, giving us hints, showing us to keep your eyes wide open, open your heart, let yourself feel everybody around you, especially the children. These are some special kids that are here on this planet. We are absolutely in a state of change like you would not believe. The golden age is going to start at this point. That's where we're at. And you're going to see things and know things and find out things about yourself and others and the world and the truth of this world. You're going to know it. Everything's going to come back to you. This is the grace of our hard work that we put in over all these centuries upon eons of time. We did it. We're there. Or you wouldn't be on this forum. I'm telling you, you would not. It is remarkable when you look back over your life and just keep forgiving it. Just keep forgiving it. It all happened because it was written that way. You wrote it. We can't blame anybody. And why would we? We needed every experience. We needed it. It has made us who we are today. God bless each one of you on your sacred path. I am so happy we're going together at this point. We have a beautiful assignment tonight to do a lot of work for our country, for the people that are very stressed out about the election and the results of it. So we're going to bring love where it isn't right now. Yeah, and I'm very excited to do this. This is very important.